What's going on, guys? We are back. In today's video, we're going to be getting away from the charts for a little bit, and I'm going to be going over what I would do if I could hop in the DeLorean, go back in time, and give myself 5 key tips to help making my journey to learning how to trade options just a little bit easier.
Doc, I'm from the future.
Let's get into it right now. All right, guys, the first key I want to go over, and I know this sounds simple and I've talked about it a ton, but I would go back and tell myself to get on a cash account way earlier. When I first began options trading, I tried to do it on margin account because I thought that I'd be able to get over 25K, but in reality, it just hindered my growth because I had to hold these options overnight, and it just started a real toxic process that led to a lot of redoing things and having to learn things over again. So the very first thing, I know it kind of sucks to have to make a new brokerage, but I would go back and force myself to make a cash account. If you're not sure where the cash account is, you can click the link in the description. That'll give you a full overview on the video I made about how to set up a cash account and what the benefits are. Now, guys, this whole series is about helping beginner options traders get a leg up and curve the learning process. The second and really big key that I would go back if I could sit down and have a conversation with myself when I first started trading options.
I told you it's in this book. All you gotta do is bet on the winner and you'll never lose.
Would be learning to play small. If I could go back in time and relearn the entire process and make it a lot easier and less expensive in terms of market tuition, is I would open that cash account, deposit $200 or $300, something very, very small, and start to learn about how contracts move.
He's learning.
When you first start trading options, it's very tempting to just kind of go all in. You're like, I like this stock, I'm gonna buy calls, whatever.
I like it a lot.
But in reality, you have no clue what you're doing. You can't just buy dips like you do on stocks. Options are an entirely different ballgame, and holding short-term options overnight can be a very scary and detrimental process that leads to an account blowing up very quickly.
Or worse yet, I've seen this happen, implode.
No, I don't want to implode, sir.
No, you don't.
So what I would do is say, hey, I'm going to give myself beer money or, $200 or $300, something that I can afford to lose and still be okay financially, and really learn, okay, I'm going to buy one contract that's 6 months out and just see how the contract moves. Learn the personality of contracts that are 6 months out. And then I would take a little bit of that money and buy an inexpensive contract for 3 months out, and then slowly work my way up to trying to trade a weekly contract, right? And the benefits of doing that on a cash account is that if something goes wrong, you can take the loss and it's not a major loss because you don't have to hold overnight. But the other benefit is you can play with these longer term contracts and see which fits your style.
Come on, what's your style?
Every single person's personality and makeup is different, and therefore you might need to adjust your trading personality based on that. So playing small gives you the benefit of using real money. As most of you know, I am a huge advocate on not using paper trading to learn how to trade options or trade in general. I think that kind of gamifies trading. When you trade with paper, it's fake money, you have $1 million in your account or whatever, and you really feel like there's no downside. You can do whatever you want, you can build bad habits. Whereas if you start with, a small $200 or $300 investment in yourself, you're going to want to keep that money and you're going to want to maybe even grow that money. But in all likelihood, if you lose it, it's not a huge deal, but you will still have that association that, hey, I'm using real money. And with using real money comes real responsibilities. And that truly is the best way to build a foundation for trading options. So after I told myself, hey, set up a cash account, and hey, play small, deposit $200 or $300, the third thing that I would do is I would learn how to read a chart on every single time frame. Guys, I can't explain the importance of knowing the technical side of trading when it comes to options. You do not need to know every single pattern. Personally, I think that patterns are open for interpretation. The eye see what it wants to see. When it comes to levels, they truly do tell a story of support is here, people like buying. Hey, resistance is here, people like selling the stock here. Those are just the only true tangibles we have to work with when we are trading. And so learning how to read those support and resistance levels is absolutely crucial, and learning how to do it on every single time frame is also crucial. If you learn how to just read the daily time frame, you have to understand that you need to trade options like you only know how to read the daily time frame, right? Because you're going to have to play longer expiration options. But if you take the time and learn those time frames from back to front, so first look at the weekly, then go look at the daily, then go look at the hourly, then go look at the 30-minute, then the 15, right? And progressively move your way up to the 5-minute. What that's going to do is it's going to give you a good foundation for understanding support and resistance and the psychology aspect that really influences trading as a whole. If you aren't sure how to read a chart or just have no clue, there is going to be a link in the description on how to read a chart. That'll give you a nice basic knowledge. And really what I would do once I had that knowledge is practice buying some longer expiration contracts, so maybe 3 or 4 months out, on things that are bouncing off major support. For example, this past week, a firm touched a major weekly support level in the $47 to $49 range. If I was telling myself, hey, this is a good practice trade, I maybe would have bought an out of the money call on a firm for maybe 3 to 6 months with time and really said, okay, I'm going to learn how this moves. I'm going to try buying off support here. And I really think that sets you up for a good foundation moving into those closer time frames and maybe learning how to trade, even monthly or weekly expiration options. Now, guys, I'd be lying if I said you need to be perfect.
She's got to be perfect. Perfect personality, pretty, but fat too, respectfully.
At reading a chart before you trade options, but have a good basic knowledge. And once you really start trading those options, you're gonna learn, okay, this is what I'm doing right, this is what I'm doing wrong. And that's gonna help you overall build a more complete foundation to trading. And I cannot tell you how important that truly is. It's kind of like when a plant is planted in the ground. If owner doesn't water that plant, it's not gonna grow, it's not gonna have a solid foundation and good roots. If you don't have good roots when you start options trading and you really start off on a bad foot, it's just gonna make the process all the much harder. Now, guys, after I had the basics of learning how to read a chart down, the next thing that I would do once I was a little bit more comfortable is I would tell myself, all right, learn to read 2 or 3 stocks like the back of your hand. There is a common misconception that in trading, you need to trade everything, right? Anything that's moving, you need to know how to trade it. You need to be in, you need to be taking advantage at all times. But in reality, when you're starting out, it is so helpful to just focus on 1, 2, 3 stocks that you know like the back of your hand that all fit in a certain sector, and learning to trade those stocks both directions. Learn how to play the long side and learn how to play the short side, because you can play those stocks off of major support and resistance levels on the 30-minute or hourly time frame for easy gains every single day. Trading does not need to be overcomplicated. You can take small trades and get small gains. Those gains add up and you can compound your account. This is a list of 5 or 6 stocks that I think are great for beginner options traders. All of the following stocks have great liquidity, respect levels well, and they all fit into a certain sector. So when things are hot in certain areas, you can trade everything, right? But at the same time, you know these 3 or 4 stocks like the back of your hand, and that makes it a lot easier because the personality of stocks is a real thing, and the more comfortable you become with it, the more in tune you're going to be with trading it. And in options, being in tune, buying at support, selling at resistance is ever more important because the margin for error is so much more thin. Now, the last thing I would tell myself if I really did have that time machine and could go back in time and give myself these awesome tips that would make the process a lot less emotionally grueling, I would tell myself, you need to learn the art of patience. Learning the art of patience is an undervalued skill in this space. Being able to wait for the trade to come to you changed my entire process of trading. Developing the patience to be able to sit at my computer and not take a trade for 3 or 4 hours until the best opportunity presented itself blew my entire mind. It really created this discipline inside me that I didn't have in other aspects of my life. And developing that skill in trading not only benefited my trading lifestyle, but it benefited my life in general. So developing the discipline and the patience to wait for an A+ setup that really fits your risk to reward on one of those 3 stocks or 4 stocks that you like to trade is a key and would have accelerated the learning process for me and really helped me develop that foundation that is now something I still do. I still, if I'm, maybe it's a day where things are more choppy and there's not as much range or there's no good theme, I'll go back to those stocks that I love to trade every day. For me, it's Nvidia or QQQ or Riot or Mara, right? Any of those stocks that I grew up kind of trading throughout my journey are still familiar names that I can go to if I want to take a trade that I know is going to be reliable and off of a support level that I know well. Eventually, you'll start to memorize those levels levels and become so comfortable with those stocks. I say it all the time and it's corny, but it is kind of like dating. Dating a stock is no different than a relationship you have in real life. Becoming comfortable with a certain stock and developing that patience is gonna be crucial to the journey. I've been there, I've done it. I'm now over 2 years into my trading journey and I still don't know everything. And having that mental capacity to understand that you're gonna learn something new every single day is something that a lot of people don't talk about, but can really change the journey forever. If you guys like this kind of video, a little bit different than the technical side, make sure you let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like these videos, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe as it really helps out the channel a ton. Take it easy, guys. Peace.